IVM.
Hi, everybody. On behalf of the team at IVM Podcast, I have a request for you. We'd really appreciate it if you could go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and fill out our survey over there. It's going to take a few minutes to do, but it gives us some really interesting information that we can take to advertisers and brands about who's listening to the network. If you're comfortable giving us your email address, while you're filling out the survey, we'll enter you into a random drawing where we'll be sending out a bunch of IVM swag to some of our listeners. Last year we sent out coffee mugs, and this year we're hoping to send out much cooler stuff. That's ivmpodcast.com/survey. We really appreciate your help.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Positively Unlimited podcast. We're nearing the end of this particular A to Z series, which was all about relationships. And as I reached the letter V, I realized that there's one very, very important aspect of a relationship or a behavior in a relationship that I must touch upon. V for validation. That's what we're going to talk about today. Some of you may have watched my date night series on Instagram. It's a video series on relationships I did on my IGTV a while ago. Actually, possibly towards the beginning of this lockdown. And there's an episode in that series where I talk about validation. Well, after you listen to this episode, you may want to go watch that video as well. However, let me just start off by saying this, that yes, we all seek validation. And to a certain extent, our loved ones must validate us. However, that is not their sole responsibility. They are not there just to keep validating anything and everything that we do, or to keep reassuring us, or to compensate for our own lack of confidence or self-worth. Remember one thing. If you are somebody who is constantly seeking validation in your relationship, if you constantly want your partner to tell you that you are right, or that you are going in an apt direction, or that your choices are awesome, then you also want to ask yourself that why is it that I seek this level of validation from my partner? What is the belief system, or what is it that I was taught as a child, or what is the lack that I experienced growing up that made me believe that only if my partner validates me, validates everything that I say or do or choose, only then am I worthy, only then am I correct, only then am I right, only then am I good enough. Now don't confuse appreciation for validation. We all want to be appreciated for things that we do by the ones we love. And especially in a romantic relationship, when you do things for your partner, or when you generally do things in your day, you want your partner to appreciate you. For instance, if you buy your wife or girlfriend something, you want them to like it, you want them to appreciate it. If you wear a particular t-shirt or shirt that they like, you want them to acknowledge it and appreciate it. Similarly, for a woman, things that she does for her man. To take a very cliched and stereotypical example, when she cooks a great meal, she wants validation. When she does well in her career, in her office, and comes and shares that victory with her partner, she wants validation. I know that I use stereotypical cliched examples, but those are just examples and they're not the general rule. So think of the different scenarios in your current relationship where you seek validation or acknowledgement or appreciation from your partner. Yes, the reason why I am asking you to identify validation, acknowledgement, and appreciation is because they're all different. Acknowledgement and appreciation are often a subset of validation. However, wanting to be appreciated, wanting to be validated, wanting to be acknowledged can be very, very different. When you want to be appreciated, it's a simple act of someone saying, thank you for doing this for me. It means so much. Or you did this really well. Or this is awesome what you have done. It's simple appreciation to say, thank you. I see you, I hear you, and you're good at what you do, right? When it's acknowledgement, it's more about, I see you, I hear you, and I acknowledge what you have done. I know it's there. I see it. Good or bad, I acknowledge your presence. I acknowledge your existence. However, when somebody is validating you, it's more about right and wrong, good and bad, good enough, worthy enough. So when your partner says, you know what, that decision you took, that was a good decision and I really trust you. You're very, very good at this. In that moment, your partner has appreciated you, acknowledged you, and validated a choice that you have made. Validation is a lot more than just appreciation and acknowledgement. It has a very, very heavy dose of reassurance in it as well. It has a very, very heavy dose of I agree with you in it as well. So why is it so important for our partners to agree with us? Well, it makes us feel like we're on the same page. It makes us feel heard. It makes us feel seen. But it also makes us feel that our partners trust us and rely on us, which for a lot of us humans is a very, very important need. We all want to be trusted. We all want to be relied upon because we've been taught that you are a good person if you can be trusted and if you can be relied upon. Also, a lot of us want our partners to agree with us because then it says that we are good enough, we are intelligent enough, we are smart enough, we are wise enough, we know what's best for us. It's an acknowledgement of our capabilities and our capacity. So today, as you sit down listening to this episode, write down the different times when you have wanted your partner to validate you and ask yourself, was it validation, reassurance, wanting to be right that I was seeking? Or was it just acknowledgement or appreciation that I was seeking? As I said before, it can be a little bit of all, but they're all different. Now, why is it important to recognize this? So that when your partner does not appreciate you or appreciate something that you have done, you don't slam the alarm to say that I'm not seen, I'm not heard, and my partner thinks I am useless. Because doing that means taking the lack of appreciation to a whole different extreme. The other thing that you want to understand, and I've said this before in the previous episode as well as in a couple of episodes before that, in any relationship, you have to learn to agree to disagree. Yes, you and your partner must be on the same page for certain major life decisions, but that does not mean that your likes and preferences all have to be the same. Also, in any given situation, in a conflict, in an argument with somebody else, your partner may or may not agree with what you are doing or what you are saying or how you are handling a situation. And that is actually a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing because in that particular so-called conflict or so-called contradiction, you receive a sounding board. You are able to see something from a different perspective. And you can then assess for yourself whether what you are doing is right or wrong, good or bad, helpful or unhelpful. Stepping back a little to something that I said a few moments earlier. If you are constantly seeking validation from your husband or wife, girlfriend or boyfriend, or any person that you date, you want to ask yourself, where did you learn this? Where did you learn that only if this particular relationship validates your existence, then are you worthy of anything or worthy of something? And it is this belief that you need to work upon. It is this belief that you need to realign. There is an episode that I did called Values. It was quite a while ago. Look for it, listen to it, because you will realize that this belief that you are stuck with is coming from a deep-seated value or a moral code or code of acceptance that has been taught to you or something that you have seen and learned. Yes, our loved ones must acknowledge our presence, our existence. They must appreciate our efforts, our abilities, our capacity. They must celebrate our successes, support us through our failures, and as must we with them. However, when it comes to validation, the first person who must validate you is you. You need to build your own self-belief and conviction instead of dumping the responsibility of being validated, of your choices being validated by your partner. They can second something that you are doing, but they are not there to judge whether it is the best or not the best. Always remember, they are just as human as you are. And on that note, let me remind you, there is an episode on self-belief and conviction. Go listen to it because that's what you need to build within yourself. Now, if you are wondering how and where to listen to those previous episodes, well, head to the IVM website or the IVM podcast app, and you can find all my episodes right from the first one to this one on the site as well as the app. You can also reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram. Our handle is IVM Podcast, and you can reach out to me on Instagram as well. My handle is Positivity Angel. Also, to let you know that I love receiving DMs from you guys. It makes me very, very happy, and it, reassures me, also validates the work that I do when you tell me that an episode has helped you through something. So do write into me, DM me on Instagram. I'm always happy to respond. On that note, I will catch you on the next episode.
I hope you enjoyed that show. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I wanted to kind of just give a quick reminder to everybody. As I mentioned up top, we are doing our annual listener survey right now. If you could please go and take a couple of minutes out of your day and fill it out, we would really, really appreciate it. It's ivmpodcast.com/survey. If you're comfortable giving us your email address, we'll enter you into a random drawing, and we're going to be sending out swag to a bunch of randomly selected listeners. So do definitely get on board that train. Let me tell you a little bit about what we did on the network this week. We launched a new show called Zindagi Diaries with Ragini Kumar. Many of you might have seen Ragini on television during the IPL. She's a presenter, but she's showing a different side of herself over here with a poetry podcast. Give it a shot, give it a listen. Let me know what you all think. Vishal Gondal is back this week after a while. He's been on an extended break, but he has Rahul Narvekar for the first episode. Really interesting conversation. Do check it out. Raji Samant joins Gauri Devidayal on This Round Is On Me. The two talk about the wine business and what's going on there. We had a number of conversations about the Farmers Bill and the surrounding agitation this week on the network as well. Maruk Inayat had a great episode on the note. Pulia Bazi did a deep dive into the issues around this. And on Siders, we have our typical, fun conversation about this stuff with a little bit of a seriousness, a little bit of fun. Do check that out on Cock and Bull on Thursday last week. Akash Mehta joined us for that episode. And with that, I hope to see you again next week.
What are some of the radical changes that are now shaping our workspace? With physical distancing and heightened safety protocols being the norm, will technology finally make its large-scale entry to the workspace? Will design as we know it change for the long term? Is it possible for the Indian commercial real estate space to adopt a 360-degree approach to sustainability? Join our hosts at the Future of Space podcast by RMZ as we deliberate with industry leaders, analysts, and bright young minds on the way forward for the workspace given the new COVID normal. Tune in to the IVM Podcasts app or wherever you stream your favorite podcasts